Welcome. Today we're going to be doing 3-digit by 1-digit multiplication. Now today's method, I'm going to be teaching a way to do it in a longer version. Traditionally, teachers would teach how to do your multiplication mentally, which could put a lot of strain on some students who are not particularly astute with their mental math capabilities. So this will almost give you a foolproof way of multiplying large numbers as long as you know how to add very, very well. And now we're at the stage where we can add multiple numbers. So we're going to take a look at the first question here, which is 394 times 7. Now, in lower grades, we taught students how to do something that's called expanded form. And what that would do is basically break down your number, 394, into all of the place value charts. So you would have 300, and that would equal 300 plus 90 plus 4. Now, teaching this actually has a point, because traditionally we really don't go around saying 300 plus 90 plus 4. But this will make total sense when it comes to multiplication. So knowing that we could break this down into expanded form, now we could start our multiplication. Just like before, the way we're going to start is on the right side, always with the ones column. So we're always going to be multiplying at the beginning, from right to left, moving across. Now, we're going to be using these numbers, 300 plus 90 plus 4, because when we are multiplying, we're always going to be using the 7 to multiply each of these numbers at the top. Now, each of these numbers at the top represents something different in the place value chart. The 3 is actually 300, the 9 is actually 90, and the 4 is really 4. So the first step that you're going to do is you're going to take the 7 and you're going to multiply it by 4. Alright? So 4 times 7 is 28. You're going to write down 4 times 7. Now where did I get that? We simply can write next to the side 7. I'll put this in another color just to color code it. 7 times 4. So 7 times 4 is going to equal 28. Now we're going to move on to the next number, which is the 9. But remember, this 9 is actually 90 broken down into expanded form. So below the 28, we're going to put another equal sign. And we're going to be dealing now with 7 times 9, which is actually 90. You have to remember that. So we have the 7 over here, and we're going to multiply it by 90. Now, knowing in multiplication that anything times 0 is always going to be 0, and we always start from right to left. So, when we were teaching our students, anything of a multiple of 10 is very, very simple to do, because all you have to do is multiply the first numbers and then add a 0 at the end. So over here, we're going to have 0. And then you do 7 times 9. And 7 times 9 is 63. And you put that right next to it. So we see that there's 0 there, and it's always going to end in 0. And now you can see that we're in the tens and hundreds column. Now we have to deal with the 3 over here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're always moving across. So we've done 7 times 4. We've done 7 times 90. And now we have to do 7 times 300. Okay? So we're going to put this down over here. Our 7 is always being multiplied by the top numbers. And this time we're going to be multiplying it by 300. And again, another multiple of 3. So we could count, multiple of 10. We could count how many zeros there are. That's how many zeros we know is going to be at the back of the number. So we could go 0, 0. There's 2 zeros. And now all we simply have to do is 7 times 3. And that's 21. Now, just like before, we're going to add all of these numbers up. But it's rather simple because there's nothing more, really, than adding 2 numbers. So, we have 8 plus 0 and 0 is 8. 2 numbers here. 2 plus 3 is 5. Then we have 6 plus 1 is 7. And then we have 2 with nothing. And our answer is 2,758. So breaking down our multiplication into expanded form first, and then working in the reverse direction, starting with the ones, then the tens, then the hundreds, will allow you to do simple multiplication by always doing single digits at a time. This is why it's so important to know your times tables from 1 to 9. As we could see, we're always just doing one single thing, and then we're always just adding a 0. So, again, over here, we have another example, which is 586 times 4. So once again, we could break this down into expanded form. The expanded form of 586 is 500 plus 80 plus 6. Okay? So the first step, you're going to be multiplying upwards 4 times 6. And this is traditionally, or this is just in the ones column. And we could write this number right down. 6 times 4, 24. And off to the side, you get that 4 times 6. Now we're going to go into the next column across. Now we're in the tens column. So what are we multiplying? 4 times 80. And it's important to keep this, to develop good habits, and always say that this is 80 and not 8. Because if you make this an 8, we're going to have the wrong answer. It is 80, so that we have our 0. So 4 times 0, of course, is 0. Then we could do 4 times 8, and that's 32. And now we have one more, 3 numbers, so we have to deal with the 500. So once again, we're going to multiply 4 by 500. And now going across, 2 zeros, so we add 2 zeros right away. Now all we have to do is 4 times 5, and it's 20. Add everything together. We have 4 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 0 is 3. And then finally we have 2 plus nothing is 2,344. So this is the longer version of 3-digit by 1-digit multiplication. But as you can see, it's a really, really simple method, because all you're doing is really adding a whole lot of zeros. And you're always multiplying with those key multiples from 1 to 9. Thank you.